Well, it's about 3 a.m. in Japan right now, which means it's well into midday in America. You're all engaging in your lives and whatnot. I should be sleeping, but my girlfriend just arrived in America and doesn't know where her shuttle bus is going to pick her up, so I'm trying to talk her through that. So in the meantime, I figured, well, since I'm not really doing anything, might as well make another video. So it's time for a story with Afro Nihongo. This is going to be the story I was talking about in my first video about some of my encounters with police officers. This one in particular involves disturbing the peace, I guess. Okay, so to begin, I go to a place called Kansai Gaidai University, except you should just call it Kansai Gaidai because the word Gaidai means university. Anyway, right next to the dorms for the international students is a park, which is very nice. Right next to that park is a Jidohan Baiki, a vending machine that is full of beer, which is also very nice. However, many students do not use said vending machine very responsibly. In fact, it's almost a rite of passage when you go to Kansai Gaidai to go and get drunk in the beer park. It's even named the beer park, by the way. Before I even arrived in Japan, I received multiple emails warning me not to go to this park because it causes problems. However, at the time that I decided to go to the beer park, I had only been in Japan for 2 weeks. I was in my I'm in a new place high, and I decided, screw it. So my Japanese friend texted me and told me to come to the beer park. I came, participated, we played some frisbee, ate lots of snacks, made use of said beer vending machine, and it became well past midnight and people were still there and people were very loud. Now, parks in America, they're usually in suburban areas, so there are surrounding houses. The same thing applies in Japan. However, in Japan, everything is twice as small and twice as close together. So we're at this park, and basically it's surrounded on all sides by senior citizens not getting the sleep they need because of us foreign exchange students. So one thing led to another, the party got louder and louder, and it got later and later, and eventually, woo, I hear and see sirens coming my way. Now, I'm conditioned to an American reaction to the police coming. When you're at a college party in America and the police come, you bolt. Immediately. You run. You just pick a direction and you go. So when I saw the sirens and the cops coming, we were all sitting in a circle drinking and talking in the middle of a public park. In my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to jail. This is a crime. So I immediately stand up and start kind of like jogging away, and then I slowly look back, and all the Japanese students are still just sitting there like nothing's happening, and I'm just really confused. Like, boys in blue, yeah, keisatsu, kiteru, they're coming, koku ni kiteru, and they didn't even bother, and I was like, okay, and do you just accept being arrested in Japan? Like, nothing I studied prepared me for this. What should I do? So I stuck around. I didn't sit back down because I wasn't that comfortable, but I stuck around, and the police officers got out of their car and approached the circle of publicly drunk people, some of which were minors as well. The drinking age in Japan is 20. Anyway, I was on the verge of filling my shorts with whatever I had eaten that day as these cops approached, and as they got closer and closer, I got closer and closer to running away. And then finally they reached the group, and I'm like, oh, this is it, they're gonna destroy us. I'm gonna get sent to Japanese prison in the first month that I'm here. Sorry guys, I fell asleep halfway through telling the story, and I need some breakfast. Alright, so back to the story. So the cops are right behind my friend right now, and she knows they're there and doesn't stop her conversation with her friends at all, just completely ignores the cop. So I'm getting ready for this cop to get angry, like, I'm getting ready for this cop to be pissed. But, and this just like completely baffled me, this is how the cop reacts. Gaidai say desu ka? And everyone's like, oh, hi. And he's like, ちょっと時間ですね. Everyone goes, oh, すみません. He's like, hi, onegaishimasu. And then that was it. It was the most passive police officer I've ever seen in my life. Everyone just slowly gathered their things and went home or to the nearby bar to finish drinking. And the cops just quietly watched us as we went. And the biggest thing I didn't expect, even more than the cop's reaction, was my reaction to the cop. Because I'm so used to being able to see the cop as a bad guy. That's just like how it is in America. It's just, oh, he was such a dick to me, and he wasn't fair, and he was just like asking ridiculous questions. But these cops made me feel like so guilty just because they were so nice. Like I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Here, and I seriously just like went around the park and like picked up everyone's trash that they had forgotten, and like, and I was just like apologizing. It's like I genuinely, like, they genuinely made me feel bad, and that like really made me think about, you know, the method of law enforcement. It's like I'm so used to kind of like intimidation, but like they appealed at me. And that actually had a more profound effect on me. But this was also the first time I encountered Japanese discrimination. And you don't think of it as discrimination at first because because discrimination is often marginalized to just malicious discrimination, like angry or violent discrimination, and Japanese discrimination is completely different when it comes to Westerners. No one's like, oh, I hate that white, oh, these white devils, go die, you piece of crap, I hate black people too. It's not that kind of discrimination. Japanese discrimination is another thing. The best way I can describe their discrimination is not they're different from me and I hate them. It's they're not Japanese, so they don't know. It's almost like they see us as kind of like a innocent child a little bit. It's like, okay, they're not from here, so they don't understand. So I need to hold their hand and point them in the right direction. That's what kind of discrimination it is. So like another example of this was one time I brought some of my Japanese friends to visit me in my dorm, and I forgot to check them in at the front desk, and you have to do that or else they're not allowed to visit. And my otosan okasan, the people in charge of my seminar house, found out that I had unregistered guests with me, and instead of yelling at me, even though they told me the rules, they yelled at the students I brought because they're Japanese. And because they're Japanese, they should know better. That's the discrimination of Japan. So because of all this, in Japan, foreigners can get away with a lot of things that Japanese citizens can't. And you might be thinking, oh, that's actually kind of a sweet deal. But in my opinion, it often comes off very condescending because it makes me feel like I'm not taken seriously, and I can't be taken seriously so long as I'm not Japanese in Japan. And on top of that, they're very upfront with their discrimination. They don't try to like hide it like people in America do. One of my teachers, who I ended up getting pretty close to this semester, lives in Japan. He has a Japanese wife, and he has a full-time job with great pay. And despite all of that, when he applied for a loan at a Japanese bank for a house in Kyoto, they straight up told him to his face, no, I will not give you a loan because you are a gaikokujin, you're a foreigner. He ended up getting a loan at another bank because obviously, hopefully you realize this isn't every Japanese person that discriminates in this way. But Even though it's not malicious discrimination, it's still discrimination and a negative thing as a whole. So I hope this story has been somewhat enlightening. I tried to take it a little more seriously than most of my videos. Tell me what you think in the comments. Let me know if you have any more questions. The next thing I'll probably talk about is Japanese discrimination against other Asian people, such as Chinese and Korean, because that is a whole nother ballgame. So yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, またな。